Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, theys and thems, we are live. And y'all don't know what type of treats you have for you today. I got some heavy hitters in here this morning, evening, and night. Shout out the time zones. So I guess we'll start from the top and we can kind of work our way around. Everyone introduce themselves and then we'll get going. Wayward Jessica, we'll start with you.
Hey everybody, I'm Wayward Jessica 29 here on YouTube and on TikTok. I am new to polyamory, but I am very open-minded about it. And yeah.
Go ahead, Ebony.
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Ebony, also known as Marjani Lane. I have platforms on Instagram, TikTok, every platform I'm up there, but Instagram is most of my platform. I've been polyamorous for over 10 years now, and I spend a lot of time educating the Black polyamorous community.
Tia.
What's up? I'm Tia. Tia My Loves on TikTok. You guys can find me on TikTok and Instagram, Tia My Loves. TikTok is shadow banning me, and I'm post banned for like 2 days. So just go follow my Instagram.
Miss Envy.
Shut up. Hi, y'all. My name is Envy. On TikTok, it's Envy_oh so arrogant. Also known as Mrs. I Speak 1906 wife. Yeah, that's about it.
Go ahead, Nikki.
Hello, my name is Nikki, also the Deaf Princess on TikTok, and I also have an Instagram. I am definitely not new to polyamory. I've basically been doing poly relationships and guidance for over 6 years. And Miss Envy, you're also my wife, so I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not going to let her skip over that like she just didn't see me here.
Well, can I get a redo?
Jesse.
Hey everybody, my name is Jessie Lee 93. You can find me on TikTok at Jessie Lee_93. And I'm not new to poly. I have been in a polyamorous relationship for the past 7 years. So I'm kind of an expert, kind of, I don't know. Not as much of an expert as Miss Ebony is. So just putting that out there.
Cool, can I really get a redo?
Go ahead, honey. Absolutely. I would never tell you no.
Hi, my name is Envy, also known as I Speak 1906 wife. Deaf Princess is one of my wives, and then I have another wife by the name of Madam Summer. Y'all can follow me on TikTok at Envy_oh so arrogant, on Instagram at Envy_oh so arrogant, and I am very interested in actually being polyamorous, and my husband and I have spoken about it, but we are in the form of looking for and learning how to even go about doing that. So see, yay, that's better.
And for the people that's going to be like, oh my God, we're not accepting no applications right now.
We have not opened that door to accept applications yet.
Because my inbox, I know my inbox going to be like, respectfully, Mr. I Speaks.
Wait a minute. I'm going to speak past how I actually made a comment on your post one time about polyamory. You said, now you're going to get me in trouble. Do you remember that? Do you?
I do.
Listen, when we decide to full on and go the whole 9 yards, there is a whole process that will come about this. This ain't just anybody walking into a room and y'all think it's finna get it popping. No, this is a whole process. Like, even though I've never been in a polyamorous relationship, if this is something that is going to be what you consider long term, oh baby, it's some criterias, it's some things, it's a whole list of things that I'm finna run down, and y'all ain't gonna like me very much.
Facts. And also too, before we begin, as a disclaimer, because I am going to have some of my military friends in the comments. My views are not indicative of the United States Navy. This is for educational purposes. only. So let's be very clear about that. My involvement will be strictly facilitating the conversation, and we're gonna go from there. So I want to begin with
quick question, honey. Sorry to interrupt. How does that, like, I'm not military, so how does that affect me?
You good. That's why I had to
Civilians are good.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, I had to go ahead and throw that out there. Yeah. So let me first say this. I Am Black Dad is asking, can you do the same for the kings as you're doing for the queens? It's starting to look like I've been getting some growing inquiry about doing this for some guys as well. So I may very well make a video, because I do know one other. I don't know him, but I remember he made a video off the video that I had made regarding the same conversation, and I definitely would like to have some kings on as well, so we can definitely get that popping. I think that'd be dope to get that perspective as well. Of course, this being the very first one, I want to start off with education, right? I want to start off with education because a lot of people, I feel, and I'm sure you all have had this experience as well, they're very misinformed about what polyamory is and what a polyamorous relationship consists of. So let's just start basic. What is polyamory?
Ebony, do you want to take this one?
Okay, sorry, I'm using my phone, so it's like really finicky. Yeah, sure. I'll make it really quick. So polyamory just really means at its root, polyamory, multiple loves, multiple romantic, intimate relationships. It is not the equivalent to polygamy. I'll get into that later. Don't want to get to that right now, but I want to make sure people understand there's a difference between polyamory and polygamy. So polyamory means it's multiple romantic relationships at a minimum.
What it also is it's ethical and consensual dating. That's one of the big things about it, is that you are in constant communication with whomever you are involved with, and everybody knows about everybody. There is no deception, and if there is deception, then you're doing it wrong. And it's not all about getting laid and getting to, have sex with so many different people. It's not about that. If anything, sex is a bonus, because one of the root things that you're doing in poly is recognizing that you can have multiple romantic and intimate. And intimacy is not just sex. Intimacy can be, there's such a broad umbrella of what intimacy is. And so it's understanding and recognizing that you are empowered by your partner and partners to develop romantic and intimate relations with each other, to really get to know each other. And if you just so happen to have sex, and it's great, enjoy it. It's fabulous, but it's not all about sex.
And I think some people also tend to get it a little confused with, when they hear polyamorous, they think automatically either cheating or open relationship. And I feel as though that an open relationship versus being poly is two different things to me. And I think a lot of people don't understand that there is a distinction between the two. And to be quite honest, it's a lot of y'all out here that might be in polyamorous relationships and don't even know it. So then that ends up opening a whole nother door, like, to that. And you also have to be kind of, I feel like, mindful that sometimes if you approach people with something and being open, you never know what that person is open to saying. You know what? Let's give it a try, instead of doing all the lying and all the extra stuff outside of that.
And I think what a common misconception is people think that, like, people who are in polyamorous relationships are greedy. Like, they want everybody to be loving on them, and that's not the case from what I've learned so far. It's more about sharing love and having those loves for different parts of your life. Because, like, somebody can touch me intimately on a spiritual level, whereas somebody else could love me on an intellectual level or a physical level. And every relationship dynamic is different, and it's all consensual. It's all what y'all agree upon. It's not just they're trying to find everybody and anybody that they can sleep with.
If you don't mind me asking everybody, what made you guys say, hey, I'm polyamorous? Where was that definitive, I know what I am and I love I can love multiple people and that's perfectly okay. I want to hear some of you guys' stories behind that, if you don't mind.
And we got a lot of people, so let's keep it brief.
Yeah, I'll try to make it real quick. So for me, I'm really weird about the word E&M, ethical non-monogamy, which is where polyamory falls into. But I used to swing. Well, I'm considered a swinger technically. I got into swinging 19, blah blah blah, and realized that I kind of want a little bit more. Like I wanted to spend more time with the people I was having these sexual interactions with these casual interactions with, and I didn't really understand how could I go about doing that. So I was doing the unethical thing. I was cheating on my partners, and I want to be clear: cheating is not polyamory. So everyone knows. And people who do cheat can be polyamorous or monogamous. Fun fact. So I learned the hard way, unfortunately. And that's how it hit me one day. I'm like, I can do this pretty easily, and it's not causing nothing happened. I didn't feel less love for someone else because I was doing something else. But I realized I had to do it a better way. So yeah, that's how I got into it.
For me, it was, I noticed that I had, after having kids, I kind of noticed that I allowed myself to be put in this heteronormative box, even though in strictly monogamous relationships, I often felt suffocated or not fulfilled in very important aspects. But my friendship, like my friendships and outside relationships, those I coveted more than my actual relationship because my relationship wasn't giving me what I needed. And I think that's because I am not the kind of person to just be with one person. But yeah, that's me personally.
For me, I was 19 and I stumbled across the burner community when I was 19, and there was a large population of polyamorous people. And I was monogamous, very monogamous then. And I started talking with more poly people and educating myself on what poly was. And I realized that I was like, whoa, maybe that might be for me, because I had some issues with monogamy, cheating, things like that. Not me cheating, but partners cheating on me. And so I was ready to try a different relationship dynamic, because it seemed as though in my 19-year-old brain that monogamy wasn't working. So I was like, well, there's this new world, and hey, there's a boy who I really like, who I'm still with, by the way. And so it's like, let's go, let's try it. And that's what I've been doing.
Tasha, what for you is drawing you to the idea of?
Tia, hold on a second. Let Princess go.
Oh, go ahead.
So for me, when I started, I was also very young, 16, 17 years old with my first relationship. We had both decided that we didn't want to be tied down to each other, but we also knew that we weren't going to let each other go. So actually at a very young age, we made very mature decisions to be like, okay, well, how do we want to do this? So you kind of have to like research, and researching young wasn't easy. So we're like, obviously stumbled a lot along the way. We're like, are we going to be in like hierarchy? Are we going to just date other people and we don't like, and then come together, or do whatever we're going to do and then come together? So we stumbled a lot throughout that time. But over time that I've come to terms that even if you are in a single monogamous relationship, that doesn't make you any less polyamorous, because like Jessica was saying, you covet those friendships, even friendships that are not inherently sexual or physical, you are in love with them. Like there are lots of people that I am very much in love with that I will never be physical with, and they know this, and we are intimate in that way. Like I just couldn't imagine my life without those people, but at the exact same time, it doesn't go to that extent. So I'm looking forward to how we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, I like what you said there. I do. I really like that. I like what you said, because you, just like with sexuality, there's intersectionality within it, and there's intersectionality within poly. And something that I've discovered within my polycule, my poly universe, is that while we are romantically poly, we are emotionally monogamous, which is interesting. So it doesn't make you any less poly, but you can still have that one connection, that one monogamish. That's a term, everybody. Monogamish. Yes, that's a term. But you can have a monogamish connection with somebody. And that's what I have with my partner.
Now, what was your question to me, Tia? Because I was letting everybody else who's actually been polyamorous speak, because I am on the interested side and the learning side of it. And my husband's like, I am a very open-minded, free-spirited person. And I'm just me. I mean, I'm already bisexual, and people already tend to think with bisexual, it's you greedy anyway. You just want all of it.
You better
or
say that.
You tend to be more of a cheating person. And it's like, no, that's not how that works. I'm attracted to who I am attracted to. I have my emotional connections with people. I have a physical attraction with people. A spiritual connection. I just feel like there are so many types of connections that a person can have, and it does not always have to be physical. And I think sometimes what ends up kind of happening too is that I feel like, one, monogamy is now programmed into people's heads. And then I feel like, two, a lot of people hope and want to get everything out of one person. They hope for everything out of one person. And sometimes I do feel as though that's not possible. It would be great sometimes for some people to be like, you know what? I got emotional, physical, everything from this one person. But to be honest, in a one-on-one relationship, sometimes there does seem to be something lacking. I'm sorry, I just read that comment. I do feel like sometimes when you're in a monogamous relationship, that sometimes one or the other, if not both, feel like something is not connecting somewhere to get everything from one person, if that makes sense of what I'm saying.
I think we need to normalize that part. We need to normalize the idea of it being okay that your primary partner may not have everything that you are looking for when it's either emotionally, physically. I mean, at the end of the day, Peter and I, we practice polyamorous relationships, and he says, I get it. I don't necessarily have, the mental stability to, understand, your emotions, or, I don't have the equipment that you might be looking for sometimes, like he understands that it's not about me loving him any less.
And I'm gonna be honest, toys only get you so far.
So I want
that part. Speak on it.
Just to kind of so, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, for those that have, been in polyamorous relationships for a long period of time. I've seen somebody ask the difference between polyamorous and sister wives. From my understanding, the biggest difference from sister wives versus polyamorous is that the wives don't have significant somebody else outside of the husband. It's the husband having multiple wives. The wives know about each other, but the wives can't have someone else outside of the one.
So I want to answer that question. So, and your interpretation is not wrong. I'm just going to flesh it out. Poly as a whole, the word poly with nothing beside it, gets people confused. So the sooner people stop saying poly and start being very specific, or they're talking about polyamory, or you're talking about polygamy, which is multiple spouses, polygyny, which is multiple wives, or polyandry, andry is multiple husbands. So sister wives typically fall on the umbrella. I'm saying typically, they fall on the umbrella of polygyny, which is a man with multiple wives. Sister wives have a platonic relationship. To be clear, does not mean a sister wife cannot be bisexual or biromantic. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is their relationship with the other wife is a platonic relationship. My frustration sometimes with people using sister wives in polyamorous groups is they're saying, me and my king are looking for a queen, and that I'm going to have sex with, but she's my sister wife. And that kind of misleads people who are actually polygynists, who are doing this off religious or spiritual beliefs. And that's their choice. Because, you know, you have someone who's heterosexual and they're looking for a sister wife, and then you bust out, you know, the legs one day. She's like, whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't get the memo. I thought this was something different. So sister wives fall under polygyny. I would be very careful with saying poly open, like just poly. Just be very specific what you're saying. Be very specific what you're saying. That's my little 2 bits of that.
So one of the themes that I keep on hearing here, and I think we can kind of go around the panel with this one, is about communication, right? Because what I'm seeing a lot, and I'm just gonna popcorn over here to TikTok. A lot of what I'm seeing over here is some people are saying that there was one person that said that it's just an excuse. Being polyamorous is just an excuse to cheat, and or that you can't communicate with your partner that you want someone else. So I want you all to kind of speak to that, because again, I feel like the entire objective of this is to break down and demystify, you know, those misconceptions and common misconceptions that we consistently see over and over and over and over again. So I would like you all to speak to the communication aspect of things and the idea of just wanting to have something else.
So, like for me, monogamy, being in a monogamous relationship doesn't stop anybody from cheating. So, assuming that someone being in a polyamorous relationship is an excuse to cheat is, in my opinion, kind of ridiculous, because if I'm communicating to my significant other, this is what I need, and I'm not going to be able to have that with you, so I'm going to have that with somebody else, or they don't get what they need from me, so they're going to have that with somebody else. And we agreed upon it. We set clear and concise boundaries. How is that cheating? That's like deciding what the hell you're having for dinner tonight. I mean, obviously it's not that flippant, but I mean, you're making an agreement and you're making a commitment. So, I mean, that to me, that whole polyamory is just an excuse to cheat thing is ridiculous, and it's filled with miseducation.
Yeah, polyamory does not mean cheat. I don't know where anyone got that memo from. I don't know where anyone told you that lie. The people who do cheat were polyamorous, but cheating is not is not specific to a certain type of like love style. To be clear, people who are swingers can be monogamous. Fun fact. Okay, you know, like people who are polyamorous can cheat. Please don't go to polyamory thinking you're going to escape cheating. This doesn't go away. It is rooted in ignorance and not understanding, like where we're saying like commitment. Commitment's definition isn't monogamy. I want to be clear about that. You can read it online. You can Google it. Google it. It's free. I understand people have a hard time with accepting that. That's between you and, you know, how you feel. But like cheating is not an excuse for cheating. If I want to cheat, I'll just cheat. Now, there are people who do use it to as a tool to manipulate their partners, and that's a different discussion to have. But just to kind of generalize the entire community that's been around for a very long time, it's kind of thrown off a little bit. So yeah, it's not. I'm not polyamorous because I'm trying to cheat. I don't understand that. It doesn't make any sense to me.
That statement of polyamorous being a scapegoat to cheat is like saying that bisexual people are more likely to cheat than straight people. I have seen more straight men and more straight women cheat on their partners than I have bisexual people or pansexual people. And the idea that just because you are one way, that's going to automatically push you to cheat, then how about all the straight people who cheat all the time? How about everybody in monogamous relationships who constantly cheat because they are scared to be honest with their partners? They are scared to be open with their partners about wanting multiple partners, but still being in love with them. I promise you, when I first realized I was polyamorous, I was like, oh crap, I don't know how my partner is going to feel about this. I don't know how Peter's going to feel. And when we talked about it, he was like, I've kind of been on that same page myself for a few years now. I just didn't have a partner who was on the same page as I am. And now we're more open than ever. So.
And I think the other part of that is like Tia, like Wayward, like Ebony has said, there is nothing to stop anybody from cheating. You can have, we literally see celebrities. We literally see celebrities who They got the body. They cook, they clean. You could do everything underneath the sun in a monogamous relationship, and that person still go and cheat. The only thing that's going to stop a person from cheating is that person. You as the spouse or significant other, there ain't nothing you can do. You could flip it, dip it. You could spin around, keep the penis still inside. You could do tricks. You could do all types of things, and there is nothing that is going to stop that person from cheating. And the other part of that is, and it just frustrates me because I feel like a lot of things are like you said, miseducation. People not taking the time out to talk to people who have been in polyamorous relationships for years, not doing your research. Google it. It's not that hard. But and it goes back to what I said. Monogamy is beat into people's heads so much from the time you grow up. That's like when, what was it that was said? Not to bring Dum Dum up, but was talking about that being heterosexual is the default. You can choose to be gay. And it's like, what?
Can I just say one thing on that? The fact that I'm sexually attracted to men proves it's not a choice. Okay, go ahead.
But it's just like, I think if more people do their research, and this is not, before you decide, I feel like before you decide to even be in a polyamorous relationship, there is a conversation that takes place where y'all discuss what it is each person wants out of this. What's the boundaries? How far do we go? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? There is a full-fledged, to me, at least for me, I know, there's a full-fledged plan that's finna go into this before I get into this. And to realize whether or not it works for said people. And the thing is, no, polyamorous is not going to work for everybody. Monogamy is not going to work for everybody. You have to move to the beat of your own drum. If it works for you, great. If it doesn't, great. That's your business. But don't be out here telling people what they should and should not do in their relationship and judging people for what they do in theirs. Because, baby, you don't know how much fun I'm finna have. But go ahead.
Nikki, Nikki, I haven't really heard from you. I kind of want you to speak to this statement that I got over here on TikTok. There was an individual, and I'm not going to call people out, based on what they say, you know what I mean? Because I don't want anyone to feel like.
By the way, I speak is not surprised by nothing I say, y'all. This
not
ain't
at all.
Nothing new.
So there was an individual that said, if the person that you're with, give me a second. I don't want to paraphrase what they said. Oh, just say the person you are with is not enough for you, plain and simple. Can you speak to that?
And utter BS for more than a few reasons. Do you only have one friend? And is that friend going to be your friend and no other friends? Is that friend enough for you? Like there's no way to just say I'm only going to have one relationship with one person and that one person's going to be everything. If you know for a fact there are other peoples with other personalities that can teach you a whole bunch of other things and that they will touch you in ways that you can't explain. Like if you were just going to stop at one friend in your whole life and never have any other friends, I would probably say, okay, cool. But that doesn't always have to work for relationships either. I think once people think the idea of sexual intimacy is introduced into the relationship, then you should just stop at one. And I'm going to go ahead and piggyback on what Envy said, where it is honestly biologically against what we are supposed to want. Biologically, just like, have you seen two dogs be monogamous? Have you seen two cats be monogamous? Have you seen any other animal in the animal kingdom be monogamous? We are the only species that consistently just say, we are here. We're never going to split, knowing that there are a whole vast majority of other people out there that could possibly also do that for us, or more than, or different than. There's nothing that is ever going to sit there and be like, this is it, and then force it. There are like force it, because you're not sitting here saying like, I'm happy in my monogamy. You're just saying, because sex is involved, I should not want anyone else. The sex itself should not steer you from looking toward other things and other people that could possibly teach you other things and touch you in other ways. Otherwise, you're just limiting yourself and upset at the exact same time.
Jesse,
and I think people just need to stop saying that's like you said, the minute you talk about a relationship, people's minds automatically go to sex. A relationship is not a relationship apparently until you have sex. And it's like, what?
Jesse, I seen you hold up 2 books. I want you to show those books and talk a little bit about them, because I want to be able to also provide resources for people whom, even if they don't want to be in the lifestyle, so that they can at least do some research themselves. And I see that there's some widely read texts amongst you all. So if you could talk a little bit about that. And Ebony, I know you read some of those books as well. And Nikki, if you can kind of speak to those resources.
Oh, for sure. Well, first and foremost, I wanted to say that I'm really glad that NB said that poly is not for everyone, because that is a huge, huge thing. It is not for everyone. Same thing as monogamy not being for everyone. As well, communication is the word of poly. If you cannot communicate with your partner or partners, if you are not confident in your communication, poly is not for you. Maybe relationships aren't for you, because if you can't have basic communication, how can you imagine to have communication amongst however many partners that you have in your polycule? It's just not going to work. It doesn't work. So there's that. That's what I really wanted to say. Okay, so books. So this book is called Sex at Dawn: The Prehistoric Origins of Modern Sexuality. And this book really just, it's fantastic. I love this book. It really just breaks down a lot of the philosophy and the science behind the genetics of humans and our sexuality. Like, I love the intro because it talks about, it's a story of, I believe the writer who was I don't know where he was in some country, and a monkey came up to him and tried to steal some of the peanuts and came rushing at him. And this man, in a moment, got down on his hands and knees and bared his teeth at this monkey. And he was surprised at himself that he's like, well, I'm a humanoid. Now I'm acting like an animal. What is, and he kind of lost his separation of being a human and then an animal. And it was like very profound to see that, oh yeah, we actually, we separate ourselves from the animals, but we are mammals, but we are genetically and biologically designed not to be monogamous. And so it goes deep into that philosophy and that study of non-monogamy in the human mind. And then it talks about the conditioning of our mind through the media, through literature, and talks about just everything. So it's a really great read. And then the other one is The Ethical Slut. Ebony, would you like to speak on that one, dear?
So The Ethical Slut, I really want to go into this now, but The Ethical Slut is a really good read for just general, like, I think exploring sexual agency, exploring sexuality, and how to navigate spaces as a sexual being. I like sex. I like Ethical Slut. I really like Sex at Dawn, so I was going to lean into that a little bit, because Sex at Dawn was really helpful for me to have proof for biological proof for why I pursue multiple cis men. I think it's really important that we talk about polyamory, that we don't hyperfocus or lean towards MFF triads, or a man with 2 women or 3 women or 10 women. That's not my jam. I will date couples. I have dated couples. I have been in triads. That's cool. But a lot of times, the discussion of polyamory, people start bringing up like, oh, it's natural, but the only one for men. They don't bring it up for anything else. So Sex at Dawn even goes as far as like speaking about how the phallus is shaped. It speaks about how, sexual sperm competition, which is really important to talk about. It's really important to kind of talk about these things, like why female humans are the way they are. And it really just kind of breaks apart what we think monogamy is and where did monogamy come from. Like, I've taken a step forward to start studying things like Hawaii. So I live in Hawaii. A lot of the older Hawaiian cultures, they would send people over to an island over here if they couldn't produce to have essentially group sex, so that someone can be able to have a baby and come back over here. Honor for their king was, or any man, was to have 2 fathers, and that was a really big deal. And so I wrote about that on my page, or Educate, because I think there's a hyper focus on women being attached to one man. And what I like about the ethical slut is the ethical slut kind of reinforces that sexual agency for people who are navigating in femme spaces. It's not saying that men can't read it. I'm not saying that at all, not at all. But for me, it was really empowering for me as a femme queer person, and being pansexual and being panromantic and also being polyamorous and swinging. All these things in place help really cultivate my polyamory and where I'm at now. I think people really need to read these books. I want to, of course, you want to list out all the cool influence on Instagram. And I know I fall on that list, but like that, the way I move in poly may not be the way you move. And that's why I think these books are good to create understanding who works best for you. But I think that everyone should read Sex at Dawn, especially people who are really in their mind set in stone that men are supposed to have multiple women, and only men. That's a discussion that we have for another day. But yes. Oh, also Polysecure is a good book, and also it's another one, More Than Two. More Than Two has a weird background from the writers, the authors. Just kind of be aware of that. I'm not co-signing the book, to be clear, but that book is also available for reads.
And any and all resources that I talked about here, just message me after the panel, that way I can drop them in the description so that people can go and check them out. We're not endorsing anything. Let's say that publicly, that we're not publicly endorsing any of these books. They're just resources that have assisted individuals in their journey as well as through their experience.
Yeah, and I will say I was actually gifted this book when I was 19. I was at a burn and met all the poly people, and I was starting to have the thoughts of, oh, poly, what is this? And I'm monogamous, I don't understand. And a woman gave me this book and said, enjoy. And so I've had it for the past 10 years. And so, yeah, this was my beginning.
Tia, I want you to answer this one.
Of course, absolutely. I mean, for myself, when it comes to what my husband and I are looking in a partner, it's not necessarily as physical, more so emotional. If it gets physical, then yeah, that's dope. But it doesn't have to get that way, because it's, again, for me, and this is just how my polyamorous works. Peter and I, that's my husband's name, we are 2 very different people. Very different, yet we fit together really well. And he was a lot of the reason why I realized I'm not interested in men. Not because I'm not interested in him, of course, but he's helped me, he's guided me through this. Wow, like I really know myself. And for me, the mental attraction to women is huge. I am so mentally attracted to women, it makes my head spin. And I don't necessarily have to be physical with them. I've only been physical with 3 women in my entire life. It's because I don't have to have that physical connection with them to have an emotional and fantastic, beautiful mental connection.
I just think the fact that once again, it keeps going back to people automatically assume sex. Like anytime it comes up, the question somehow always goes back to sex. And it's like, everything does not have to be sexual. It does not. There are different things that people are looking for when it comes to a relationship. If that's the case, then what do you say to people who they don't get off on being physically touched? And I think that's another thing that goes with kind of polyamorous. I don't know, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but also learning someone's love language. Everybody does not want to be touched to get that fulfillment. Some people are gifts. Some people are you doing things for them. There are a ton of different ways that you can have a relationship or you can show love. And once again, it still boils down to communication, the boundaries, and everything like that. And as I said before, if you're polyamorous and it works for you, great. If you are monogamous, great. No one's passing judge. I feel like the thing is, if you're not monogamous, all of a sudden the world seems to have this this image or these words that they want to say to you, or this idea of what you got going on because you don't fit the mold of what society says you should fit. Oh, if you're a man, you should be a cisgendered man only with a woman. If you're a woman, you should be a cisgender woman only with a man. And it's like, we're not in the 1900s no more, baby. Times have evolved. Generations have changed. More and more people are starting to learn that this is not who I am. I'm forcing myself to be something that I'm not in order to make the world, in order to make everybody else happy. Meanwhile, on the inside, you're dying because you like, you know what? This I'm forcing myself to be something I'm not.
Well, I mean, look at what you see on TV. Look at what you see when you're younger. You always see especially when a lot of us who were born in the 90s and 80s, you saw cis men and cis women as a couple together. You never saw same-sex couples. You never saw, single parents, or if you did sing sometimes you would sing a single mom. Some rare occasions you would see a single dad. You never saw polyamory. You always saw like, oh, two cis people who used to be together, but now they're divorced. So, okay, there's 3 parental figures, but not everybody's romantically involved. You never saw those things. So it's ingrained in you forever. Disney is one of the biggest ones that ingrains monogamy and cisgender relationships, heteronormative relationships. So you see that constantly. And so as young, men, women, and non-binary children, you start building up that fantasy of your wedding, of what love is, of what it's going to be. And once you get to that age where, life hits and you start getting more of these life experience, your childhood fantasy is still there in your fucking brain. And you're just like, but no, this is not how it's. So you're constantly challenging that tiny childhood fantasy. And you have to learn that that's not what it is. And that you have to gain more perspective and open your mind and tweak it or completely dismantle that childhood fantasy.
And you know what's so crazy is even if you do the research on Disney, a lot of those stories are flipped to have a happy ending. The original stories of those, and this is getting off topic, the original stories of those are actually not as happy-go-lucky as Disney would love for you to believe.
Oh, they were tragics and they had morals and all that other stuff.
Facts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, and just to kind of jump off of what y'all two were saying, we're literally hardwired to subscribe to the American nuclear family. 1 mom, 1 dad, 2.5 kids, white picket fence. If you ever
What's 2.5 kids? Because I hate that. What is that?
I don't know, but that's the way the statistics are. I don't know. But
is that 2 and 1 in the bun, 1 in the oven?
Yeah, 1 in the oven. What is
that?
About halfway along. But and if you say, for instance, I always said, I never want to get married. And teachers, my parents, everything like that, they would look at me funny. Like, what do you mean? You don't want a husband? No, I don't. And so when you get beat down like that and essentially forced to subscribe to this ideology, I mean, it's no wonder why the idea of polyamory is so demonic. And let's face it, a big part of that is the white American Christian church.
All right, we got 2 questions over here from TikTok. The first one I think can be answered pretty quicker than the second one. The first one is, why get married? Why not just date multiple people?
To have a life partner. I mean, at the end of the day, for me and how we operate, we didn't say we wanted to get married just because we had to. We wanted to unify as one under our family views, we wanted to make it official. I mean, at the end of the day, you can still be married and be polyamorous. I mean, there should not, that idea of being in an open relationship or being polyamorous outside of a marriage is damaging, in my opinion. I don't think that a person who is or isn't married should be judged for being polyamorous just because they have a life partner. You can still have a life partner and still have multiple partners that you love and care for, but that life partner will be your forever partner. And just like with my husband, he's going to be the man that lays next to me and dies next to me, like in The Notebook. Like, that's how it's going to be. Like, I've never seen The Notebook. I just know that one part and it made me cry. So I think as long as everybody's open with each other and honest with each other, it should not matter about the marital status of the relationship.
So my partner is married. My partner has been married as long as I've been alive. We're in an age gap relationship too. Haha. But as well, marriage and poly can work. Like I just said, my partner is married, and his wife has a partner, and his wife's partner and her share a partner. They're a triad. So yeah, we have a big polycule. And not only do we have 5 adults, but we also have 2 children. So poly can also be successful when there's children involved too. I want to make that clear too. You can have a polyamorous relationship and you can also have children, and it can be successful. As long as there's communication, as long as the kids know who is who, and all of that, you can have a successful poly relationship, and your children can also be involved and interactive with the adults that are in these relationships. All of us, we all went to Yellowstone, and it was all crammed into an RV, but we all went together because we're a poly family. That's when you don't just become a polyamorous relationship or a polycule, you become a poly family. So there's a little bit of that too. And marriage works.
There's another. Go ahead, honey.
But I also feel as though for someone to say, why get married, just continue to date different people. Once again, it sometimes goes back to society. If you're married and dating other people, after a certain age, society looks at you like, what is wrong with you? Especially as women, because it's ingrained in a woman that we're supposed to want to get married, have the big wedding, have children. I ain't gonna lie, I wanted to do all of that. I still do. I still want my big wedding. He ain't slick, but I digress. But some women do not want marriage. Some women do not want children. Some men don't want marriage. Some men don't want children. And the thing is, it's okay. But you can't sit and look at those that have it and say, oh, they're being the normal. They're just being plain and boring. It partly comes down to stop judging what other people decide to do with their life.
And that's what can make poly successful right there. That's what can make poly successful. I have multiple poly friends in the St. Louis community. And one in particular, he got a vasectomy because he knew he did not want to have children. He was dating this other girl who did want to have children. They knew that was not going to happen. So he obviously supported her to find that with somebody else. And so that person now has a husband and they have a baby, and she is able to have that as well, have that relationship with her other partner who didn't want children and who didn't want marriage. But, one of the big things too is that polyamory evolves as time goes by. Your polycule is ever changing, which is why communication is so important, which is why expressing your own desires or your feelings of, oh, hey, this is not working. You have to be in constant communication because, you could be out one night. You could say, this is going to happen, and we're going to do this. And an opportunity comes up and you think, maybe you got to talk about it because it could change in a blink of an eye. It could change just like that. So you always have to be open to those things.
No, you're good. So we got two more. The one I'm kind of waiting because I think this was going to be a little bit longer of a conversation. But this comment says, my husband said if we decided, he thinks that it will be difficult to keep more than one woman happy.
To keep more than one woman happy? So
who said it was just his job?
So I really want people to understand. I don't do polyamory. I want to put that out there. There's nothing against someone who's doing the thing. I don't do polyamory. I am polyamorous. So like sometimes people navigate polyamory as a means by which to make up for a lack in something. That's illogical to me, but that's your choice. Okay. So I didn't wake up and say oh, I should do polyamory because I'm not getting enough sex in my life. I didn't do that. So when people say things like someone's concerned about making someone happy or doing something for something, redoing something, I have a lot of backwards questions to ask. My biggest thing is, since when is your responsibility to make someone happy? That's illogical to me. Once again, a lot of people in monogamy do that. They try to make their partner happy. If they did not come in as a whole person, you there's already an issue there. You're not supposed to make them happy. If anything, you can increase their happiness, but they should still be happy if you're not present in case something happens, right? For obvious reasons. Anything can happen, breakups, deaths, whatever. Next statement I have is bringing a woman into your fold, because I feel like if I ask these questions, I'm going to get the answer I'm looking for, really. It's not a thing of a collectible. Women are not collectibles. You're not adding someone to your relationship. You're building a new relationship. You're building a triad, okay? So, the idea of someone's insecurity and want to make someone happy, and then they're like an item. I don't know. It really gives me weird feels. That's why I want to ask more. But I'm not gonna do that because it's a deep question. But it's not someone's job to make someone happy. When you find another person who wants to be in a relationship with you guys, whomever it may be, you're not there to make her happy. You're not there because this is how couples get screwed. This is how couples get screwed pursuing polyamory, and that's how when they start unicorn hunting, and they actually find women who are actually sugar babies, and they get messed up with this pretty badly. You can't give her things to make her happy. You cannot, purchase all the things in the world, because if you stop doing that, now she's going to drop off the side of the map because you found a sugar baby, not a girlfriend. So as far as the concerns and anxiety, I think a lot of that is based on insecurities and understanding that you're not responsible for that. If he's concerned about sex, then, that don't find someone that has a high sex drive. That's pretty simple, right? If you're concerned about financial responsibility, you don't have to give homegirl your wallet the first day you meet her. Fun fact. You ain't got to buy her house the first day you meet her. Fun fact. I know everybody has a thing about polyamory and hierarchy versus egalitarian. That's their jam, but you don't have to give someone your bank account within the first few months of meeting them. Please take your time. Take your time when you navigate these ratios. And if you start feeling that way beforehand, it's okay to feel anxiety. Just take more time. I wish, Envy, I was listening to you talk earlier, and I wish everyone else I do peer mentorship with and peer support for would take the time that you have taken to understand the intricacies of relationships, because I am mind blown by what you're saying. I'm like, she ain't even done a thing yet.
I agree.
She hasn't even done a thing yet, but she already know more people who doing a thing right now. I be damned. I be damned. Because that's what I'm saying. So
if you know who my husband is, what's his slogan? Research over me search. Google is free.
Whoa, honey.
Wait, I'm sorry.
That's conscious. That's conscious.
Research over me search is conscious lit. Google is free. It's Anthony.
Before you speak, do your research.
Okay, I ain't say all that because you ain't say that lately.
Anywho, okay, give me a second.
I have to agree with Ebony though. The way that you have come into this conversation with all of the knowledge that you have is a breath of fresh air. It really is, because so many people will come in with I want to do poly because I'm DTF and I just want it. Just a lot. Oh yeah. Oh, trust. Oh, did I take it too far? Because I could take it further with the thing.
No, not at all. Hey,
I'm sure there are plenty of poly people on this panel who have heard worse than just that. So, it's just, it's a breath of fresh air to know how much research you've done before coming into this conversation to where you're pretty much on our level. You just haven't done poly yet. It's great.
And I think another reason why I do the research, that was a joke, me saying what my husband said. But just to think about how when going into any relationship, you want the outcome of friendship, family, even husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, any relationship that you make, even business wise, any type of relationship you make, you go in with the mindset of, this is something that more than likely I want to be long term. And if that's the type of mindset you have, then you start to kind of, okay, well, let me figure out this person. How can we best work well together? How can we figure, whatever type of relationship you got going on, how can we figure out the best way to make this long term? Now, don't get me wrong. There are some people that are just, wham, bam, skip to the next person. Bro, do you have fun? But I feel like most people do have this intention of building a relationship. And when you start to build those type of relationship and things, one wrong move sometimes can cause everything to go haywire. And then you look inside eye like, damn, I had a really good friend, and now I don't have that friend no more. Where did it go wrong? So for me, when it came to me thinking about being polyamorous, Cairo, you gonna fall. When it came to me being polyamorous and wanting to take this leap, y'all continue talking. My son that fell between the couch and the wall, and he's stuck. I gotta get him.
Get
All
my
right,
step
so
baby. Get my step baby.
listen, pandemic babies are built different. I'm telling you. He is all right. I promise. So we're coming up on about 56 minutes, and I kind of wanted to save this question for last. There were some other minor statements that were made, and if they remake them again, then I'll readdress them. But a lot of people have been asking, what's the difference between an open marriage and a poly relationship?
Ooh, I definitely want to address this. So, the big difference for me between open marriage and polyamorous relationships, again, going back to you guys assume that there's sex involved. Polyamory isn't always about sex. Like I said, me and mine, I have people that I am deeply emotionally in love with that I have not had sex with. That is also a form of polyamory. Yeah, look at it. There she is. She's so beautiful. Anyway, and open marriages usually are primarily sexual. Like they're saying, I'm opening up my marriage because sometimes there's extenuating circumstances that lack in a sexual manner. Like if you have a relationship where, like, there's a disability involved, right? So, like, people that have quadriplegic and they're still deeply emotionally in love with that person that's a quadriplegic but can't physically satisfy them, they might decide together to open up their marriage. It is still a mutual understanding that this person is going to go out and do these things, but it's not necessarily in the same context of I'm going to be in an emotional connection with that person. It's more like you're giving me the go ahead to go ahead and satisfy some needs that I might not be meeting here with you. Again, not cheating, because still in both scenarios, you guys are communicating. An open marriage is still saying, hey, there's this thing that's lacking. I need to go find it. Polyamory, again, you can be doing that without even knowing it. Like, I can't imagine my life without that person, and I definitely need to have them no matter what. So I feel like there's two different distinctions that people want to know. Polyamory is not about filling a gap in your relationship that is missing. Open relationships can primarily be about filling a gap in your relationship that's missing, but still communication.
And to be honest, so I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I just wanted to add something with that, because open relationships gets really finicky when you start wearing that. So I agree with what you're saying. Open relationships are an application. I'm writing stuff down because I write stuff down. So like disabled people may use open relationships as an application to their relationship. Polyamorous people can be in open relationships. All right. So I am polyamorous. I navigate open relationships. So I have the ability to pursue sexual encounters outside my relationship. Doesn't mean I am, but that means I can. Not to be also confused with open triads who are polyamorous. Okay, so the people who've been open triads who are polyamorous are together with 3 people, and they can pursue other romantic relationships and sexual relationships with the intent of a relationship with that person. Once again, not to be confused with open relationships. Open relationships are 9 times out of 10 related in sex. Also, people who are asexual may have open relationships applied to their polyamory, or in general. It may be preference-based. A lot of military people participate in open relationships. So it is something I think you really need to understand. Like, these are applications. Anyone can do all of them. You can be a polyamorous person who is polyfidelous, all right, but swings. Okay, so like, I don't want to like overload people with information, right? But these are words that really can help with describing what you're trying to do. Yes, open relationships are cool, but we're not the same as people who are polyamorous. If anything, most people I know who are polyamorous are not okay doing open relationships. Like, a lot of them are like, no, this is my girlfriend, my husband. No, like they don't play that. They don't want to do that, and that's okay.
There was one last person that says, how do you deal with the jealousy? Someone said, I would like to try it. However, the way my insecurities are set up, ...
Go ahead. Yeah, no, you go. I've been talking.
I just wanted
Y'all
to
was ready
say
to jump on that one.
I'm sorry if there's insecurities in yourself that you can't overcome, you shouldn't try it. You need to be comfortable with yourself before you can try to jump into any type of relationship, monogamous or polyamorous. You need to be comfortable in your own body and in your own emotional feelings before you can try to give yourself up to someone else. Like we've talked about here, you cannot expect someone to make you happy. You have to be able to make yourself happy before you can hop into anything. That's even a friendship, a relationship, anything like that. You should not try, and this is just my opinion, maybe other people might disagree with this, but in my opinion, you should not try to get into a polyamorous relationship if you have your own self insecurities that you have not been able to overcome.
Oh wait, you want to go?
Oh no, you can go ahead if you want.
Okay. What I was going to say is, if your partner goes out for a night, when your partner is out, and they say, oh, we're going out to a club or something. When you're sitting at home, you need to sit and think. Are you worried about them thinking, dancing with other people, or women? I don't know the dynamic of your relationship, but let's say cisgender, straight, heteronormative. Are you worried that your partner is out there dancing with other girls, or are you excited that they're going out and having a good time and getting something that they need? If you are sitting at home worried about who they're talking to, if they're going to talk to somebody else, that means that you are not ready. But if you are sitting there being like, go have fun, do you, boo, I got this. Because one of the big things that you have to understand and learn how to deal with is being alone. Because there's going to be a night where your partner is going to be off doing whatever they're going to do with their other partner. And you, as another partner, depending on how you define your relationship, it's on you to be supportive, because you signed up for this. You are being, they are supportive of you. You also need to be supportive of them, because there's going to be nights where maybe if you have 2 partners, one partner is off doing this thing, and that maybe that one partner doesn't want to come over. And you might still be craving, oh man, I really wish, but you got to understand, you got to realize that there's going to be some times where you're going to be by yourself. And if you can't be supportive of your partner going out and engaging with their other partners, or even just friends, and you're worried about what they're doing, then poly might not be for you.
And just to kind of piggyback off of that real quick. So like for me personally, 10 years ago, I could have never done it. I couldn't have, because I was too insecure. But you have to you need to focus on your journey as far as figuring out who you are and being secure in yourself before you can expect anyone else to be secure in you, or you to be secure in anyone else. You need to do that inner work. It may end up being for you years down the line. But as of right now, if you, for instance, you can't even watch a movie with, a guy and he says that Scarlett Johansson is hot, and without you feeling some type of way, you probably shouldn't try polyamory, because that's just not going to work.
Real quick. I just want to say something about that.
Oh, okay. My bad. Nikki, then Ebony, and I got one.
I just want to say, okay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Ebony. Go ahead.
But real quick, just because I feel like, and it's just me being my weird person about this, people can be polyamorous and jealous. We'll put that there. Okay, there's people I know who are polyamorous and jealous. They have jealousy issues. It could be as far as the spectrum can go, or they have jealousy issues. Jealousy is not the issue. It's what you do with that jealousy. Okay, you can be jealous as fuck. Okay, It's what you do with that jealousy. It's when
End
your
up on
partner comes
Snap.
back home and you communicate to them, hey, like I feel some type of way. I felt this way. I don't want you to look. I just want you to know this is more for me internally, or you. It's just something to communicate. It's nothing wrong with feeling about stuff. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys that there's perfect. I'm not a perfect polyamorous person. I'm not. I don't even want to build the idea that there's polyamorous people aren't jealous, because it's illogical to me. It doesn't make any sense, because they can be jealous, right? It's what you do with that jealousy and how you navigate that jealousy. If you recognize there's an insecurity going on, you take the time to process that. You don't negate your polyamory by being jealous or having jealousy or envy issues as well. So just something I want to put out there for someone. I don't want to feel that they're just being dissuaded from navigating polyamory because they might have some insecurities they're still working on. Because polyamory, once again, I am polyamorous. I don't do it. So like I am always polyamorous. Even when I feel jealous, I'm still polyamorous. It's what I do with that polyamory. What I do with that jealousy in that process. That's all I wanted to say. I'm done talking.
Yeah, and what I was going to add to what all three of those beautiful ladies had said is you can also be polyamorous and use your polyamory to overexert and overextend yourself with your partners because you have a fear of being alone. I have seen lots of poly people who are just like, they will go out and get partners just for the fact of that partner found someone, I'm getting less time with them, so I'm going to go get another one. And then if that partner has something going on, like they got a new job that's keeping them away too long, I'm going to go get another one. And they will just keep circulating until they have this huge overexertion of partners that they can't even devote their time to, just for their fear of being alone. So like they were saying, it is that self-reflection, not just for the jealousy part, but just for this fact of, if you're not comfortable being alone, so you feel like you need more people in your life, polyamory is also not for you. Because when you're being poly, you are also making a commitment to that person that you are going to be there to support them, and you're going to be there for them either time wise or however you guys are deciding you're coming together. If you're just like, oh, you don't have enough time for me, I'm going to get somebody else, you are the worst kind of partner. Don't do that.
I think also I feel like there are certain I feel like there are emotions that you just being a human, is hard for you to just say, I'm never going to have that. Even being polyamorous, jealousy, insecurities, trust issues, that's just, it's human nature to sometimes have those type of things. But as Ebony, Jesse, all of us have pretty much said, a big way to work through those things is, one, ensuring that the person you are building a polyamorous relationship with is somebody that you can trust, that is going to help you, work through those things, as well as the fact that I lost my train of thought because my son is pulling and beating me. But you're human. You're human. You're expected. We're humans. Nobody's perfect. Nobody, listen. If you don't show any emotions or you don't have no emotions, then baby, you're probably a psychopath, and I don't want you. But communication, boundaries play a big part. Okay, go wake up, Caleb. Communication and boundaries play a big part. And if you are not, I'm talking, hold on. And if you are not communicating with your partner and telling them what you have going on, how will they know what is affecting you and how it's affecting you?
I mean, yeah, one of the big things is that polyamory, like any relationship, is work. You have to put in the work. And if you can't put in the work, then relationships, maybe period, you should not be in part of, because it's more depending on how many people you have in your polycule, if children are involved, if you want to have children, or if marriage wants, whatever, however your polycule develops and changes over time, different boundaries, or tweaking this boundary to appease this, or things like that, coming up with new agreements. Like you got to communicate. You have got to do these things.
I do want to touch on this because I see this a lot in my comments over here on TikTok. They're talking about how a lot of the talk was just about a woman with multiple male partners. Have you all had any experience with a man that is in a poly relationship with a woman, but the partner is another man?
I
They want.
absolutely have. I absolutely have. A few years ago, I was in a relationship with a male who was in a relationship with another male. Actually, there's another TikToker, Genty. He is a bisexual male on TikTok that I am enamored with. I think he is a beautiful
Me
creature,
too. Oh, me too.
and he is a beautiful creature. And
He's watching.
it comes down to being confident in yourself and just wanting that person to be happy. Like, they're not asking you to also be in the relationship with the man. If you are extending that support, like Jess was saying, you're extending that to support. And if that man is making your man happy, absolutely go ahead. Like me and my ex's boyfriend were best friends. Like, we're just like, okay, well, it's his birthday, what are we gonna do? And we would sit there and like try to plan his birthday and make it all amazing for him. And it honestly is that communication. I am not off put by a man um communicating his needs, communicating who he is, being confident in who he is, and me just accepting that. Polyamory isn't just a, you know, heterosexual back and forth. It can be
Right. I want you to dip into
that.
that really quickly because someone asked, "Can two cis men and a woman work?" Just curious.
Yes, absolutely. I,
Yes.
yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, and Ebony can tell you all about it. Like, two cis men and one woman can definitely work. Like, if she's dating him and she's dating him, and no, they are not in any type of competition with each other. They just have an open communication with knowing that we are both in love with the same woman. We want her to be happy. She makes us happy. And as long as we're all on the same page, it will work.
That was perfectly put. Thank you. That like encompasses my entire polyamorous journey. I've been married. I've had at one point I was married with two boyfriends, and I had a comment, and it was never an issue. It was never an issue. And these men were secure. I know at some point, and I look forward to when you have your next panel with this, because I know you're going to have one with men, because I know it's going to come up because they can't help themselves. Not all men. Alpha man's gonna come up some point, and a lot of people discuss like, how do you, well, two men, how do you do that? I'm like, well, yeah, like the men I deal with are either combat veterans from the army, or they're active duty, and they're perfectly fine. So so, and they're perfectly fine because they're secure in their manhood. Their manhood is not rooted in my submission to them, right? And their control over me. And if anything, they're more so like, man, as long as you make her happy, bro, that's cool. But if you fuck up, I'm good for you. And that's something I've noticed with the men I've been with. Polyamory doesn't just exist for heterosexual or bisexual, heterosexual men and bisexual women. There's heterosexual women that are polyamorous. There's asexual people who are. Someone said something earlier about like envy. Was talking about how poly is not about sex. I'm like, yes, because there's asexual people who are polyamorous, and they exist, and there's a lot of them in the polyamorous community. So yes.
I think it also goes with, like, I seen somebody that mentioned something about LGBTQ community and how it's confusing because of how long it is, and how there are so many I don't want to say sections. I don't know what to say. Sexualities, I guess, is the right word. I hope that is the correct word that I'm using. How there are so many sexualities underneath the LGBTQ plus community. And in the recent years, we're noticing that more and more are being added or being founded. And I think with that being said, is that a lot of people don't understand that there are people who are asexual, and they're like, well, what's asexual? They don't want sex. They're not turned on by physical touch. They don't like, there are, you kind of have to look up exactly what it means. And even me being a part of the LGBT community as of recently, I'm still learning. And so I think when you start to understand who a person is, what they are expecting and what they want out of life, out of the relationship, out of anything, I think it starts to become a lot easier to build certain relationships or be polyamorous, if that makes sense to anybody. So I think wholeheartedly you have to take a look at the person that you are getting into a relationship with. And like I said before, the biggest thing is to learn that person's love language, because how you love is not going to be how I love. You know, and we tend to love a person the way we want them to love us. For instance, my husband and I, mine's is acts of service. His is words of empowerment, encouragement, empowerment. But so it's like I would constantly do things for him, and you know, buy things or do this to show that I loved him. And for him, it wasn't the same. It was like, you know, good. I'm glad, not to sound ungrateful or unappreciative, but that's not how he cared to show love. I have to say things like, babe, you're an amazing father, which he is. You know, you are a great listener, a great speaker, and that is what he loves. And we have to learn how to love each other. We have to learn how to love the person we're with, whoever it is, the way they want to be loved. And I definitely recommend, you know, taking the 5 love language quiz, because you might be surprised at what yours is. Some people automatically know, oh, mine's is acts of gifts. And then they take the quiz and it's, oh no, it's actually quality time. And you're like, well, that's 2 different things. And your love language can change as you get older. Mine's used to be gifts. Come on. I'm 18, 19. Oh, don't spend no time with me. Just give me some money. Like, but now that I'm older, it's not the same. It's not the same. Like, we get older, we get more mature, and we start to realize that some of the things we did as a teenager, as a child, even as a young adult, what I did at 25 is not what I do at 34. And we have to learn that just because you like being touched does not mean everybody like being touched. And as we said in the beginning, intimacy does not always automatically equate to sexual. Having a deep conversation can be intimacy for somebody. Going on a little picnic with some rinky-dink Subway could be intimacy for somebody. Sushi, intimacy. There are a lot of things that can be deemed as intimate for different people. You know, everything is not always let me grab on your butt, touch on your titty. Everything ain't always that. What turns you on, you have to figure that out. And if you are somebody who is turned on by touching, great. But everybody is not, okay? And once we stop, I feel like once people stop thinking that everything has to be sexual, give me that foot long.
Y'all, I'm blushing like I'm in middle school, man.
But once we get past the everything is sexual, and it even goes back to, if y'all have sex with people that are virgins, if you have sex, the minute you have sex, that means you're showing you love me by giving me your virginity. And it's like, that ain't love. Why do I gotta sleep with you to show you I love you? Why do I gotta allow you to put you, like, certain things just don't equate together. And once people separate that sexual does not always have to be involved, because as we said, you have people who don't want sex. They are turned on by other things, and sex just might be an added bonus on top of everything else underneath that they got from that person. So yeah.
Right.
I have a question
I'm sorry,
for
my
all the
mouth is
poly
right
people
sometimes.
on this. Have for the poly people and new poly potentially, maybe. So this is also for you. Have any of you done the 36 questions to fall in love quiz? Have any of you done that through the New York Times? You have? It's excellent. And that is one of the biggest forms of intimacy that I have ever had with not only my partner, but with just people in general. It is one of the most amazing experiences ever. I was paired up. We did it at a burn one time, and I was paired up with somebody. And unfortunately, we didn't last that long because one of my friends showed up, and I was like, "We gotta go." But I heard from one of my friends. They were in this conversation, and there were 36 questions, but they were in this conversation for 4 hours, a complete stranger for 4 hours. And when they came out, they were like, whoa, I have never done anything like this, I feel we got to do this, because like it can really open up your mind to a lot more intimacy, and it can rekindle intimacy that you have with established partners. It can build new intimacy with new partners, or maybe just, you know, friends. You can do it amongst friends. So I highly recommend that. 36 questions.
Well, I was gonna say somebody just asked, what was it called again?
The 36 36 questions to falling in love. It's by the New York Times.
Honey, write that down so I can get it later.
36 questions to lead to love. I just Googled it.
To lead to love. My bad.
No, you're fine. I Googled it when you were talking about it.
Okay. Yes, 36 questions to lead to love. It's an amazing exercise. I highly recommend it for both of you. And please let me know how it goes. Okay, done.
Awesome. So at this point, I'm going to ask, because I want to be cognizant of you all's time as well. I do got a clock for another 10 minutes. If you all would like to go beyond that, we can, but I did like to open the floor for some questions, either over on YouTube or over here on TikTok. If people wanted to ask a question that they hadn't asked previously, if you all will be open to that. Like I said, I got about 10 minutes left. Good? Okay.
Also another thing that y'all can look up, there is a card game called Skin Deep. I don't know if any of y'all have heard of that. It is a card game called Skin Deep. In the card game Skin Deep, which I ordered that, honey. I told you about that before. But the card game is called Skin Deep. The card game Skin Deep, they have several sets of cards. So the cards you have, Skin Deep for friendships, Skin Deep for dating, because there is a difference between you dating and you actually having a significant other that you are married to, or a long-term relationship. They also have that, and I think they have one for family. So I think it's friends, family, dating, and then spouse one. So there are several different ones, and there are questions that you ask, and these questions can start off a little bit like nonchalant.
Oh, that's them questions that's going to start some craziness.
The thing is, it can start some craziness, but it can also open up the relationship, any type of relationship that is going on, that allows for you to kind of get to know your partner, your friend way better. So it's actually a really good game, as long as, I think a big part is you have to be open-minded and accepting of things that may or may not have happened during the relationship that you have. But ultimately, if some things come out, you as an adult are the person that have to make the conscious decision to say, you know what? After everything I found out in these cards, I can or cannot do this. That's up to you at the end of the day.
Okay, I'm not seeing any questions over here on TikTok or on YouTube, and I don't want to belabor the point, nor do I want to, I don't want to say waste your all's time, because I feel like this was time very well spent. I feel like there was a lot of information that was passed, good information.
Somebody popped up with a question on YouTube.
You said somebody?
Yeah, somebody said, do you have more boundaries with one partner than another, or do you set universal boundaries?
Okay. That'll be our final question on the way out.
I think also next time, if there is a next time of doing this conversation, it may be better to have people hold off on questions until the end, because I think as we were talking, a lot of questions was popping up and being answered.
I mean, they were pertinent
simultaneously.
to the conversation, so I just kind of zipped them in there. But I
All
got
right,
you.
host.
All right, we start. Everybody want to answer one by one?
Sure. So for me, the boundaries, my boundaries start with myself first. So I will be clear about this. So I have, I'm not gonna get to my personal life that much, but I have dated, and I do date people who are narcissistic. Like, they have the diagnosis, they're narcissistic. So it's easy for me to date narcissists. Very easy. I don't have a problem with narcissists. I think a lot of people struggle with that. But I have boundaries that are specific to people with certain mental illnesses. I know it sounds crazy, neither here nor there. And so, like, one of my things is I am more hyper reactive or hyper proactive, with some of the things they may do, because I make sure that boundaries set in stone ahead of time to make sure we don't have any issues. Don't get confused, brother. It's not the the party you're doing this at. So my boundaries are typically general. Like one big boundary I have for myself is I don't. These are my personal boundaries, and I may go from there. But my personal boundary is like I don't pursue fluid bounding relationships with people. So I don't have unprotected sex with more than one person. That is my choice. That's my choice. There's nothing wrong with what you do. This is my choice. I do it for a reason. It's neither here nor there. Okay, it's predominantly because of the fact that I do have sex with more than one man in general when I have polyamorous dynamics. From there, I may have specific boundaries with certain people because they may be habitual line steppers, okay? And they may not be trying to intentionally cause that with me, but I have to remind them, like, hey, like, now I have a boundary for you because I knew this was going to happen before. I haven't had this problem before, but this is something for you, all right, that I know that you may abuse or misuse. So I'm reminding you so I don't have that issue later on. But that's every person is different. I always suggest people to have their own boundaries for their own self and then go from there. Like, have your own foundation before you let other people make your own boundaries for you.
For me, because polyamory changes so much, my dynamic has changed so much within the past 7 years. But for me personally, like, one of the big boundaries in the beginning was always wear protection, all of those types of things. I was very specific on what type of things I liked and what types of things were absolutely no. And then fluid bonding became a thing. And so, fluid bonding became something that I did with my main partner. And then when I was dating somebody else, because he did not have a vasectomy, I said, we have to stay protected, things of that nature. And then as our relationship progressed and things started going in his other world and relationships, we had to establish new boundaries. I said, okay, new person. So one that goes across the board is if you are introducing a new person, that's fine. But once it gets to the sexual level, testing needs to happen all around. Like STD testing has to happen all around because multiple people are involved. So we want to make sure there's a clean bill of health from everyone before engaging into sexual activity. That's one of the big things. It's only, and that's only if sex is something that is desired by my partner or partners. It really just depends on your dynamic with your other partners. If something is great over here, but maybe somebody might be falling short or kind of irritating you and might be triggering some of your feels and some of the jealousy in you, then that's something that you need to privately discuss with that partner. And that'll just be between you and that partner, unless it's something that affects everybody. So like sexual health, that's something that affects everybody. So everybody needs to be on board with what you do in regards to sexual health. What you do in regards is if there is a potential pregnancy, you have to talk about all of these things and set boundaries for those types of things. So understandably.
Yep. For mine, I definitely, I am kind of with Ebony. I have boundaries that I literally walk into a relationship and I'm like, hey, these are no-goes for me. But I think everybody has that. Like everybody walks into relationships, even monogamous relationships with, these are things that definitely don't work for me in a relationship. So though definitely that. And then, yes, I am actually more of like a universal. Like, yeah, there's definitely things where I'll tweak it just a little bit for this person than that person because, like Ebony was saying, they will take a boundary and use it and abuse it. So there's definitely ones I have to tweak for certain people. But usually, because I'm communicating across the board, like I do like a unanimous. Everybody's got to vote. Everybody's got to say in this because it affects everyone. Like Jess was saying, like if it's something that affects everyone, everyone gets a say. Like it's not just okay, this is all about me or all this is just me and his issue, like or her issue. Like no, it's not just a me or her, not just me and him because at the end of the day, like I am in relationships with a bunch of people. So if it's something that's going to affect that, or even if it's even just a little bit like changing a dinner plan, something like that, like, yes, I'm going to inform all people because like Jess can tell you, I'm a very, very busy person. So if I have to push an hour back, that means that's an hour back from this person, an hour back from that, and an hour back from that. It will domino effect across the board. So if somebody needs to say, oh, I'm running late, can we push it an hour? I will literally say, you got to let me contact this person, this person, this person, because I had times and dates set. And I'm not going to just let you be like, oh, I'm running an hour late, so you can be an hour late, because that's not how it works. Everybody's got to be involved.
You know what that face. You know what that face was for, Deaf Princess. Somebody an hour and an hour and an hour back.
For me personally, let's just clear this. In my opinion, everybody's different, and everybody might some people in their relationships, they might have some who have separate boundaries for each other, some who have the same boundaries. For me, Peter and I would have the same boundaries with our partner. That's just for me personally, because I expect the same thing from each relationship. I expect honest communication. I expect loyalty, honesty. So yeah, for me personally, I would say for how we operate, we have the same boundaries. But again, for everybody else, it might be different.
Well, for me, since I'm like brand spanking new, I'm a baby at this. I basically I set my own like ground rules, like things that are specific to me that can go for anybody. And then I would kind of deal with it like a case by case type of situation. Because I don't want to be like, you can't do this when I don't necessarily have that interaction with you to find out if I'm comfortable with it or not. So I guess in a way I'm like figure it out as you go, but at the same time, when I figure it out, I'm very clear and concise with that.
So I guess for me, hi Peter. So I guess for me, because we have not determined completely if we are 100%, all in, because we don't, when it comes to my husband and I, we don't half-ass nothing. So for us, it's all or nothing. And if this is who we are going to be, and it is going to be all or nothing. But I think for me, it would be a little bit of what Jessica said, Wayward Jessica said, as far as like it's situational based. Because my thing is, I can't sit and say, oh, your boundary is this. I do feel like there are general boundaries not to cross. But then I think when you start specifying certain things, you kind of have to look at the person to see what, this person is capable of. As Ebony said, is this somebody who has a narcissistic type of mindset, somebody that constantly oversteps what you tell them. It breaks down into a lot of things, and I feel every person is different, but I also feel that there may be a general rule of, for instance, if it does get to be sexual, it may be a general rule of, hey, there's condoms across the board. I know my husband and I don't want no more children, and I think we have kind of agreed on that one boundary there. If we do take this all the way, that the person, either they already have to have kids and don't want no more, or they're coming with no kids and don't want no more. But
Well, that's okay. I can't get you pregnant anyway. You're good.
Well, let me say this: if they have someone else and they get pregnant by that someone else, that's different. But for my husband and I, there's no more babies coming from him.
And
so I think
where that comes from is also experience too, because you're new, relatively new, and depending on if you go in, a lot of us have established boundaries not only within ourselves but also through years of experience of monogamy and trying different relationships. So and boundaries change. They change. Sometimes you'll be like, okay, this was a boundary, but maybe we'll, like, for me, a boundary was fluid bonding. My partner got a vasectomy, and he back then when he was still romantically involved with his wife, he was fluid bonding with her, and he extended that to me, and I said, I don't think that doesn't sound like me, and he says, okay. And then the day came where I approached him. I said, okay, I'm kind of less weirded out by fluid bonding, and I would like to try that. And we got consent from everybody all across the board, and we've been fluid bonding since. So
real quick, Jesse, can you because I'm pretty sure most people are not used to the terminology of fluid bonding. So could you kind of, what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, I low-key been curious about that too. I was trying to
fluid
find a way
bonding.
to like weave it in there. But
I mean, I have an idea of what she's saying, but from the three up top that I'm looking at, y'all have been doing this for a lot longer than the three of us at the bottom. So just kind of explain a little bit more for people who don't know at all.
Yeah. So fluid bonding is having sexual intercourse with a partner, and the partner does, in fact, ejaculate inside of you. And majority of the, sometimes in my terms, this person has a vasectomy, it is sterile, and there is no chance of a baby happening. So it is literally just fluids coming together, mixing together, whatever have you, without the end effect being a baby. So that is our fluid bonding.
Also, to make it more queer inclusive, fluid
you
bonding is not just rooted in just like penis and vagina.
Right. No,
so some people vagina to vagina. If you are someone that does kissing, so for me, my fluid bonding is pretty strict. So like I'm pretty strict about it. We will not be doing no I know there's a child in here, so I'm gonna be very limited with my communication with that.
My son, you talking about my son only one?
Yeah, I don't want to say anything when the baby's near. But it
I already said he has no idea what you're saying right now. He
don't even know he don't even know what's for dinner. Go ahead.
You're so wrong. So like yeah, so like from vagina to vagina to sometimes kissing. Some people who do kink, it can get deep. So that's also a form of fluid bonding. And I'm not gonna get onto all that, but you can take it how you want to take it. So fluid bonding can be different people. For me, I know I'm really big about fluid bonding with any form of ejaculation, whether it's from a person with a penis or a vagina. I don't like surprises. I've been surprised, and I don't like surprises. So I don't like surprises. So I try to limit myself to surprises. That's all me. That's just me.
And keep in mind, when they're saying fluid bonding, they are only saying that if it gets to the point of sexual. You have to kind of say that because, like I said, it goes back to so many people think that automatically everything is equated to sex. Everybody does not have sex. If you so choose to bring that into the polyamorous relationship that you are building, then that is what you decide to do. Everybody will not automatically say we all having sex. That ain't everybody. Okay?
However, those times do come up in polyamorous relationships. Sometimes, you'll be out hanging out, whatever, and then you'll see somebody and you're like, I don't want to have sex. And it's just like, just big exclamation, I want to have sex. And you need to be honest about that. You need to be honest. Don't come at me and say, oh, I'd like to form an emotional connection when it's just like, I think your real desire is that you would like to have sex and you really want to ask me if it's okay if you go and have sex with this person and that's when you have the conversation about the different boundaries that you have set. If that might be a night where you're like, okay, let's tweak that boundary. Go ahead. You can go have sex tonight. You have to have that communication across the board because those do happen. I've done it. So
I think overall, and I want to definitely thank all of you for coming together and really having this candid conversation. And like I said, most of you all know me. I mean, Eb, kind of new, and having these difficult conversations, and really these conversations that allow people to learn outside of the binary what they originally know to be true, and or have grown up with or have experienced. So to be very clear as we conclude this, this is not to push this off onto anyone or sway anyone. You like what you like, you love what you love. If this is not for you, then that's fine. But I thought it to be, when Tia brought it to me, a very interesting conversation to have, especially one that could bring about some clarification of some misconceptions, as well as I'm really big on resources. So like I said, all of the books, the quizzes, and all that stuff, we're going to make sure we drop that in the description below. Definitely make sure you drop a like. Definitely appreciate the subscribe, of course. And I want to thank all of the beautiful women assembled together that sought it not to come together and spend this time. And I just want to tell you all, anytime there's a conversation that you all might want to have, I definitely don't mind lending my platform out within reason, to
I
host
feel
the
attacked.
conversation.
Next conversation, $5,000 to get on I Speak 1906 YouTube channel.
Oh God. Listen, as much as these goofies done wasted my time, listen, I don't mind having these types of conversations because I think that they bring about a lot of education to people, as well as correcting a lot of misinformation that's out there. And as always, in the words of my brother Consciously, research over me search. And before you speak, do your research. So I want all of you to do me one last time. I know you did it in the intro. Drop your socials, where people can find you at. Ebony, I'm be honest with you, most of my audience are familiar with all of the rest of the women that are here. They've been asking a lot in the comments, where can they find you at? So you can start it off, and then everyone else, for those that are not on TikTok that are going to view this, where can they find you at on other social media platforms?
Hold on real quick, honey. Can you have her bring me the Pop-Tart, please?
Yes.
Parents got a parent.
Make sure you get the Pop-Tarts, please. So once again, my name is Ebony. I run a platform. My platform predominantly is Instagram. I run Marjani Lane, MARJANILANE. It's also Marjani Lane version 2, which is accessible for people who have sensory sensibilities, autism, where it may be that day, and also visual impairments. So I've been doing polyamory for 10 years. Like I said, I educate about poly. I've spent a lot of time on poly education. I've been doing this for a very long time. So I go down from like what to do on your first date, or what to do when your partner's on their first date, or even as far as like how do you navigate spaces where you're dating someone who's monogamous, or you're monogamous dating someone. I just got into TikTok. I'm taking my time, guys. I'm not really into TikTok like that, but I'm more so into Instagram, and that's why I do speak publicly about polyamory on different organizations. And so, like, if you Google Marjani Lane, you should be able to find most of the things I've done. Thank you.
And I'm Jessie Lee 93. On TikTok, I am Jessie Lee _93. And on Instagram, I'm Jessie Lee _93. And you can find me there. Love y'all. Thank you.
Hello, I am the Deaf Princess on TikTok. So my platform is more about education for people with disabilities, specifically deaf and hard of hearing, which I am a community for that. But I will speak up and for all communities that I am a part in. So that is why I am here today. And if anyone has any other questions, definitely reach me at the Deaf Princess TikTok or Lorena Nikki on Instagram.
I noticed that, my background changed. My phone died, so I had to run in here real quick. But so my socials are Tia My Loves. TikTok is Tia My Loves with an S. My Instagram is Tia My Loves with a Z. And my Clapper, because I think I'm going to move to Clapper too, it is also Tia My Loves with a Z. So you guys can find me there. Thank you, guys.
My name is Wayward Jessica 29 on all platforms. I have TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. My YouTube channel, I speak a lot about issues in the Black community or issues that affect the Black community. And yeah, you can find me anywhere under Wayward Jessica 29.
That's Envy. She not paying attention.
It's my turn. Hey, tell y'all fine daddy. I said hey. Sorry. My name is Natasha Highland. I Speaks 1906 wife. You can catch me on TikTok at MV_OSO arrogant. Gotta make sure I say OSO, y'all. You can catch me on Instagram, MV_OSO_arrogant. Soon to have a makeup YouTube page. My TikToks are solely based usually around being goofy or doing makeup. Just started doing makeup. And yeah, watch out for the YouTube coming soon. Absolute Envy, as well as the eyelashes and lip gloss line coming soon. That's it.
I'm gonna need a personal DM when the lipsticks come out for real, because I need that.
I am currently working on getting everything together. You know, you got to spend money to make money, and that's the point that I'm currently at right now. Got to save up that money and get it together in order to, you know, launch that. So it will be hopefully before next year hits. It will be here.
It'll be before the end of the year. I'll just go ahead and say it'll be before the end of the year. You know.
So
yeah.
Yes, definitely. I know somebody asked
to myself
if they were going. I know somebody asked if we were going, if you were going to do this again, but with men.
Yes.
Once he gets a panel of men, it will definitely.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a video recapping this panel, which I believe was a very powerful panel. I believe it's a great discussion. And what I'm going to do is reach out and have some men on. There was also some talk about having individuals in poly relationships and individuals in monogamous relationships on. So I'm going to contemplate and explore potentially bringing that about. However, I don't want it to become a debate, because that's not what this is. It's not debating whose lifestyle is better, whose lifestyle is worth living. It's not about that. It's about, information and the passing of information. So as long as it's cordial, very rarely do I, bring children up here on my platform. And when I say children, I'm talking about anybody under 18 to be a primary speaker. And it's nothing against, I believe we have some very intelligent young men, young women, and young people. However, when we talk about, conversations such as this, we want to ensure that we are educating as well as giving our own personal experiences within the same light. But I don't want this to turn into the whose lifestyle is better, what should we push more, because we're not pushing anything. Just to be very clear, it's to give information as well as to provide corrections to a lot of misconceptions that are out there. So again, I want to thank you all.
We pushing, don't be judgmental. That's what we pushing. Don't be judgmental of what somebody else got going on if it don't affect you.
Pretty much, and to be inclusive. And just because you don't agree with something does not mean that you can't seek to understand it at the end of the day, while also simultaneously understanding that in this life there will be some things that you don't understand. So you got to understand that you won't understand. So again, last but not least, thank you all. Like I said, anytime you all are welcome to utilize my platform within reason. Within reason.
I feel like you talking to me.
No, I'm not.
I feel like that's directed at me.
I'm speaking in general because I know I'm gonna have. I just know my platform, and I know I'm gonna have people in my inbox and on my Instagram. Hey, can we have a panel about this? That don't deserve a panel. We can talk about that via the DMs. You know what I'm saying?
$5,000.
I just can't. Wifey said it's 5,000. It's 5,000. But nonetheless, any conversation, or not even just a panel, if someone would like to grace the platform again with a very credible topic, not something that you're just trying to get some clout off of, because I will vet you. Do understand that, and I'm not just giving you free access to my platform. However, I do believe, in the words of my brother, conscious education is elevation, and we need to continue doing so as we continue through this thing we call life. So as we conclude, thank you all so much for showing up. Thank you for your wealth of knowledge and experience. And as always, before you speak, do your research.
He putting us all off. Y'all can go to his YouTube, his TikTok, because he ain't going nowhere. He going to be on TikTok Live for another 2 hours. I will be on
TikTok Live at the conclusion. Please make sure you like this video as well as drop me a subscribe. I love you all. Be blessed.